As brilliant as Einstein was, and I will say I would have never thought up the theory of relativity had it not been for hearing the term theory of relativity. And theory of relativity in its essence is correct, that all things are relevant. Like for example, time is relevant to space. If no movement through space occurs, there is no time. And that would be heartbeats, blinking, person moving, the earth spinning, the earth going around the sun. All of our ways of measuring time are related to movement. So movement through space equates to time. Now the way we experience time is different because it's experienced as it's stored in the consciousness, and moments of intense thought can make time seem to go slower, and when you're asleep and wake up, sometimes you're not aware that any time went by at all, but yet it did, because the way we experience time is related to our thought, how much thinking has taken place. So there is the theory of relativity, that all things are relevant, like for all relative, that the earth is, that the North Pole was on top of the earth. Well, that's only relative to how you're looking at the earth, what perspective you're looking at it from. You could be approaching the earth, coming the opposite direction, and it would be at the bottom. It's all a matter of, it's all relative to how your term is. So Einstein, once again, brilliant man, but this video is about how, in fact, E does not equal mc squared. Because first of all, there's lots of different types of energy. And the one I'm going to use as an example is the energy of love. Who can say that love does not have energy? It's been proven in medical science that love can make people healthy. There's no real measurement to it, and very little mass has to change. Therefore, that one example in and of itself proves that E does not equal mc squared. Now, if you're talking about specifically nuclear energy, then perhaps, but that's only one type of energy. And so therefore you cannot, when you say E equals mc squared and you're saying E is energy, that's a bogus equation. It's just not factual. And here's another example of that, is that a smile in a room can make 10 people smile, and a person can blink their eyes 1,000 times and it causes very little energy to be transmitted, although how much mass has changed and the energy in the person to blink is required a lot, but how that energy transmits out. So therefore the transmission of energy is very important, and that's how in nuclear energy it's a matter of splitting the atoms is more than just breaking a rock in two. And when you break a rock in two, you really haven't destroyed anything, you've just separated something into two. Now a fire breaks things back into molecules, but it doesn't destroy the matter in and of itself. And you just releasing molecules into the air and putting molecules into ashes, but energy cannot be created or destroyed in essence. But once again, with the energy of love, it really doesn't define those terms. Now, how can all this still be scientific? And that I have to go to someone other than Einstein, and I'll go to Neil Cassidy. Neil Cassidy said we are fifth dimensional beings in a fourth dimensional vessel happening in a three-dimensional world. Now, what does that mean? Well, you can walk through time, you can walk through depth with height, and you can go up and you can go sideways. That's the 3 dimensions. All the movement that takes place in this whole universe happens in 3 dimensions. Fourth dimension is is it a fourth dimensional vessel? Well, we have a past, and we have a record of that past, and we can think back on that past. So we move fourth dimension, 3 dimensions, we can move through it, and the fourth dimension is the ability to think back on what we went through. That's how it's a fourth dimensional vessel. Now, fifth dimensional being implies that this vessel is not the only vessel that we have access to, and that can be in other lives, other universes. Now, proof of that is that while lying totally dormant in a bed, you experience other worlds in the realm of dream. So therefore, in and of itself, is proof that we are a fifth dimensional being, because this is not the only world that we will experience, have experienced, and do experience. So therefore, E does not equal mc squared. We are fifth dimensional beings in a fourth dimensional vessel happening in a three-dimensional world. This has been your lesson today. Have a good one.